Hey, good morning and welcome back to Questioning Sense with me, Matt. Okay, beautiful, beautiful January morning. It's bright, it's probably a bit too bright, so I'm sorry about the light coming into the studio, which is obviously my living room. All right, so let's cut to the chase. Today we're going to be looking at one of the most important perfumes that I own. I've not had it long, it's blown me away. It's about as niche perfumery gets. This is such an important fragrance to me on so many levels. So be warned, it's going to be yet another quite gushing video. And I wanted to address that. Yes, a lot of videos that you see on YouTube from reviewers, you know, they're quite negative about things or they're quite positive about things. I want to get this straight out, basically. 99% of the reviews that we do on Questioning Sense are going to be positive because they're fragrances that we've bought ourselves. We've sampled them, we've tested them in shops, or you know, they've been recommended to us and we will have smelt them before we've bought them because we're buying them with our money for us to wear. These aren't bottles that are being sent to us to review, that we give positive reviews on or anything like that. These are our own fragrances. You know, these are fragrances that we want in our collection, and these are fragrances that we enjoy. So, yeah, I mean, I will start reviewing some more samples, and you'll probably get some sort of like less positive reviews when I'm just reviewing samples. If you look on the Instagram page, there are a lot of written reviews of samples, and obviously you can see there's quite a few there that I've sampled and I don't enjoy. And I've not liked for a variety of reasons, and I won't buy them as a bottle because I don't like them. There's no point. You know, why would I buy a perfume, or why would Rich buy a perfume that we don't like? Anyway, enough of that. Today we're going to be talking about Beaufort London's Iron Duke. This is, first and foremost, let's have a look at the presentation. Little box like that, comes in an Iron Duke sleeve, and then we have quite an exquisite functional plain black bottle with the etched horse there, wooden cap that comes off, fabulous sprayer, beautiful bottle. This came out I think in 2017 and it's part of the Revenants collection from Beaufort London, and these are basically kind of trying to give you a sort of an olfactory description of historical figures. And Iron Duke was, it's inspired by the Duke of Wellington. Now, strange note listings. You have dark musks, you have gunpowder, you have leather, you have metallic notes, you have oud, you have tobacco, saddle soap. More of that later. So what you get is, this is another one that's more of an experience than a wearing. This is such a massive fragrance. I'm wearing it at the moment and I put it on, I sprayed it about 2 hours ago and it's just still everywhere. So I'm going to spray another little bit now just for the purposes of the review, just so I can go through the experience of the opening again. Now, tiny bit. Honestly, the performance on this is outstanding. It's extreme, in fact. I mean, just that there, it's just filled up the room. You get this amazing smoky assault. Now, I have no idea what gunpowder smells like. I have fired a gun before, but many years ago, and I don't know. I'm assuming this is where this smoky accord comes from. But the story behind me and this is a good friend of mine. She sends me quite a few samples and she has a really good bead on, you know, my tastes and stuff like that. And she sent me a sample of a few of the Beauforts, and they're all really interesting. They're all quite extreme fragrances, and they are, as I said earlier, about as niche as you can get. I mean, these are up there with the Zoologist collection. They're insane in their own ways. And as soon as I smelt it, I thought, I know that smell. I know that smell. And it's taken me a little while to get it. Now, I'm going to have to give you a little bit of backstory on me to explain this. And it's quite an emotional thing for me to talk about. So please bear with me. And I'm sorry if I'm just waffling on a bit. I grew up in a very old cottage with my family. And we had, you know, it was, when I say old cottage, it was built in sort of like the 1600s. So very old. So there was no central heating, there was no shower, we had a bath. My father was sort of like the head of the household. My mum worked, my dad worked, but he was a chap who worked in an office. So he was up very, very early in the morning. Sadly, I lost my father quite a few years ago now. And obviously, like everybody that loses a relative that they're close to, you miss them. My father had quite a dramatic effect on my life, and I owe him so much. So it's, you know, it's kind of obvious that I'm going to miss my dad. But in the mornings, my dad was a prolific smoker all his life. I mean, he lived till he was 82, and he was a heavy smoker for pretty much all his life. So in the mornings, he would get up at the crack of dawn, and he would go into our bathroom, and he would start running an incredibly hot bath. So it's like getting steamy in the bathroom. Then he would disappear off and make himself a cup of tea, and then he would smoke a cigarette and come into the bathroom. He'd take his cuppa in with him, because he would be in the bathroom for so long. He would have his bath. He would have, although he had a beard, he would wet shave. He would, you know, use the bristle brush and have a full shave, and then he'd have his bath and he'd drink his tea, and he'd be in there for what seemed like an age, but he'd also be smoking cigarettes while he was in there. Then he would finish in the bathroom, and by that time the rest of the household would get up and we would file in. And when I walked into the bathroom, you'd open the door, and then you'd get this wave of steam and cigarette smoke and the smell of whatever cologne he had, and obviously the smell of his shaving foam. It just made such an impression on me as a young kid. And when I sprayed this the first time, I couldn't think of where the smell was coming from. And then it just dawned on me. This smells like walking into that bathroom when I was a kid, and it just takes me so far back. It's just such an amazing thing. It really does transport me right back there. So I mean, I can be who I am today and spray this, and for a couple of minutes I'm that little boy again walking into the bathroom after his father, and it fills me with such joy. And that's just one of the, you know, the powerful things of perfume. So I've been looking at the notes, and I wanted to try and find why this smells like that, because my dad certainly didn't have gunpowder in there. The leathery vibe, I mean, my dad did occasionally wear a leather jacket, but he was always smartly dressed. He'd wear a shirt and tie on his day off. I don't think I ever saw him in a pair of jeans. He wasn't that kind of guy. But the smoke, and he's obviously this gunpowder accord that gives me the smokiness. Now, the interesting thing is, and I had to research this to try and find out where it is, because there's no way that my dad would have had any contact with any oud or anything like that. It's the saddle soap. I'm pretty damn sure this is where this connection is coming from. In saddle soap, a common ingredient in saddle soap is lanolin. Now, lanolin was also, and is still to this day, quite commonly used in shaving cream. So what I'm thinking is the saddle soap accord mixing with the musks, the leathery notes, the gunpowder or smoky effect, and the tobacco all combined to give me this passage straight back to my childhood. It's just, it's amazing. And for that reason, I will always have a bottle of this. I absolutely adore this way I can be transported when I spray this fragrance. But what that also does is it makes it quite difficult for me to review this objectively, because I have such a love affair with this fragrance. For that reason, it's difficult for me to explain, I think, properly how this fragrance will be for you. What I can say is that I find this, although, you know, the sample was sent to me by a lady who loves it, I find this very, very masculine. It's an ultra masculine fragrance. It's beautiful, it's big, it's powerful, it has projection like nothing on earth, sillage massive. This will last on your skin until you wash it off. It doesn't go anywhere. And for that first sort of half an hour, 40 minutes, it's a real assault on your senses. Everything in there just attacks you. The oud is quite animalic, but I think also this saddle soap has got quite some animalic note in it as well. It's just very, very, very powerful, very smoky and very big and awesome and lovely. But it's certainly not going to be for everyone. It's actually going to be quite scary. I think, you know, you certainly need to get a sample of this. Whatever you do, do not blind buy this. It will blow you away to start off with. When it dries down, the animalic's still there. The leather notes become very much more apparent and more dominant, and it becomes like a soft leather, and that is to die for. It's a beautiful smell. almost a bit like walking through a well-kept stables. There's a slight hint of animalic in the background there. There's the leathery note. It's just uber masculine, uber wonderful. I think this is creative art. I think this is a beautiful thing that Beaufort London have made. I've tried 3 or 4 of the others and they're all interesting, but this is an absolute star for me. I don't think I need to buy or to own it anymore from Beaufort London, because this can't be beaten for me because of the emotional connection, I'm sure. It's just an absolute work of art, and one that I implore you to sample. Please, as I say earlier, don't blind buy this. It's too much. Too much. I'm going to wear this when I'm feeling a bit down, or when I'm just, you know, I want to go on a little trip down memory lane. But taking that emotional connection aside from it, this is a fantastic fragrance. It's going to be an absolute belter for the winter. I think after the first 40 minutes, this could be a very good formal scent. I think I wouldn't wear it to work. I really wouldn't wear it for work, to be honest. This is for me, potentially going out dressed up, or going down to the pub to meet friends and stuff like that. I've worn it on the school run just to see how it goes. It's not one that's going to get you compliments, I can tell you that for a fact. People will be intrigued by it. They'll be interested in what you're wearing, but it's not one for the adoring masses, for sure. If you're looking for something that's going to have people fawning at you, that's not it. There's plenty of other fragrances out there for that. This is an exciting fragrance for people to wear that are a bit edgy. They're a bit, I don't know, a bit mad maybe? Not mad. This is a fragrance for people to wear that are not shy. They're not retiring. They're very forthright. They're big. They're bold. And I'm not meaning physically. You need to be emotionally big and bold, I think, to pull this off with confidence. You need to be a confident person, basically. Wonderful bit of perfumery. I think this is an amazing fragrance, one that I'm so happy to have found, and you know, I'm going to be forever grateful for my friend for sending me this fragrance, because it's such a unique smell to me, and such a precious one. Listen, thank you very much for your time. As always, we really appreciate you subscribing, and we really appreciate you spending the time, you know, to watch these videos that we make. So thank you very much. Got some normal reviews, and as I say, I'm going to start reviewing some samples now as well, just so we can kind of cover as many fragrances as we can and give our opinion on that. But listen, thank you very much for your support. It is, as always, appreciated. See you next time. Bye!